Welcome to Moving Forward After Your Child's Diagnosis with Dr. Laura Marshak and Lisa Green. Dr. Marshak is a psychologist and professor who works with parents of children with disabilities. She is writing her 8th book on aspects of adjusting to disability. Lisa Green is an author, parent educator, and mom of 2 children with cystic fibrosis. Lisa's mission is to empower parents who are raising children with medical issues. Her message is, you can do it.
A few minutes ago, I had talked about the fact that the way people work through grief and mourning is really an individual one, and the path and journeys vary somewhat person to person. I'm wondering if you could share some thoughts about your own process.
Yeah, I'd be happy to. For me, I remember, just being when my son was born with cystic fibrosis and needed to be in the hospital for about, not quite a month, but about a month for surgery and whatnot to get things working the way they should. We were so immersed in that process. That I think was the shell shocked, and I was there at the hospital with them a lot. So I had a C-section, and so I was in the hospital for about 3 days. But when it really, really hit me, like full force in the face, what we were really dealing with was when my father-in-law drove me home after having been in the hospital for 3 days. And we pulled into the garage and we had all these flowers and just gifts from friends and family and the community. And we pulled into the garage, and right there I saw Jacob's car seat, the baby seat. And he wasn't in it. He was not in. Where was my baby? My baby was in the hospital. And it hit me, the anger, and just, it was like a wave. And this was the tidal wave. I love how you share that analogy.
Crashing
It
into
did.
you.
It hit me like a tsunami and it just, where did it come from? And I went upstairs and I went into his room, his nursery that we had decorated with so much care and so much love and so much anticipation, because this was a surprise diagnosis. We didn't know that this was coming. And I just sat there and I wept, and I was so mad. I wept and wept and wept. I cried a river of tears. I didn't think I could cry that much. And I was so mad. I was mad at God. I was mad at the world. I was just mad.
The grief and the anger so intermingled at the same time.
Yeah, it absolutely was. So I like what you say about it being a ball. It's all together. It's not stages. Yeah. And then I also remember, just after crying and being mad and just rocking and I realized, as I looked around at this nursery, and I thought, you know what, this baby needs me. I've got to be strong for him. I'm going to be bringing this little baby home, and I'm going to be the one that is going to care for his every need. And I need to be there for him. I need to be strong for him. And I intuitively knew that the cues that the messages that I would give him over the years, that would be who he would become. And so I remember just very clearly saying, okay, I'm mad, I'm sad. And it wasn't like those emotions went away, but I literally pulled myself up by my bootstraps. And I don't know where that saying came from, but I said, I have got to get my act together because this baby needs me. And if I can't get it together for me, by George, I'm going to get it together for him, because I'm a fighter.
Is it fair to say that you had the resolve, but there were many moments that the grief was still overwhelming?
Absolutely.
So
it wasn't that it was gone.
The drive.
Yes, to be able to get through. And it began with a decision. It was truly an intellectual decision. I remember so clearly in my brain saying, Lisa, you need to get your act together. This baby needs you. So you've got to get it together.
And I love that concept of it beginning with a decision. And I think it applies individually, like you're saying, it became with the decision that I'm going to get through this, I'm going to get through it well to take care of this
I'm
baby
going
that
to
I
be the
love.
best mommy that
That's right.
this baby could ever have.
And later on, when we talk about marriages and committed relationships, I think that there are also decisions that somehow I'm going to make this relationship work well in the midst of all the strong emotion.
Yeah, which is interesting how we can
Make
think.
Uh-huh.
You know, I mean, which is what we're really talking about here. I mean, that we can actually make a decision or think in the midst of that.
And I think that part of making that decision is really committing that I'm going to have a quality of life. I may not know how I'm going to do it yet,
Right, I have
how
no
I am going to
idea.
cope with this, but I'm committed
Yeah.
to coping with it well. And I think that extends with relationships as well and to parenting. Right? That I'm
Absolutely,
going to be
yeah.
committed to parenting well on a daily basis, no matter how hard it is,
And I'm not going to allow those emotions to take me out to sea.
permanently.
Right.
There may be days we get swept up.
Yeah,
somewhat,
we do
but
get swept
yes,
up, and,
but not lost
but
at
not
sea.
lost at sea
Not lost
forever.
at sea. Yes.
Thank you for joining us. You can contact Dr. Laura Marshak at www.disabilityandfamilybalance.com. Lisa Green can be contacted at www.parentingchildrenwithhealthissues.com.